Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय निताय गौरांगो जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 7th Canto, 10th chapter, verse number 23. Pitryam cha sthanam atishtha. Pitryam cha sthanam atishtha. Yathoktam brahmavadibhihi. Yathoktam brahmavadibhihi. Mai aveshya manas tata. Mai aveshya manas tata. Kuru karmani matparaha. Kuru karmani matparaha. Pitryam cha sthanamatishtha. Yathoktam brahmavadibhihi. Maya veshya manastata. Kuru karmani matparaha. Pitryam cha sthanamatishtha. Yathoktam brahmavadibhihi. Maya veshya manastata. Kuru karmani matparaha. Pitryam cha sthanamatishtha. Toktam brahmavadibhihi. Maya veshya manastata. Karmani matparaha. Pitryam cha sthanamatishtha. Toktam brahmavadibhihi. Maya veshya manastata. Kuru karmani matparaha. Pitryam cha sthanamatishtha. Yathoktam brahmavadibhihi. Maya veshya manastata. Kuru karmani matparaha. Pitryam cha sthanamatishtha. Yathoktam brahmavadibhihi. Maya veshya manastata. Kuru karmani matparaha. Pitryam, paternal. cha, also. Sthanam, place. Throne. Atishtha, sit upon. Yatha uktam, as described. Brahmavadibhi, by the followers of Vedic civilization. Mai, unto me. Aveshya, being fully absorbed. Manaha, the mind. Tata, my dear boy. Kuru, just execute. Karmani, the regulative duties. Matparaha, just for the sake of my work. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. After performing the ritualistic ceremonies, take charge of your father's kingdom, sit upon the throne, and do not be disturbed by materialistic activities. Please keep your mind fixed upon me without transgressing the injunctions of the Vedas. As a matter of formality, you may perform your particular duties. Please repeat. After performing the ritualistic ceremonies, take charge of your father's kingdom, sit upon the throne, and do not be disturbed by materialistic activities. Please keep your mind fixed upon me without transgressing the injunctions of the Vedas. As a matter of formality, you may perform your particular duties. Purport. When one becomes a devotee, he no longer has any duty to the Vedic regulative principles. One has many duties to perform, but if one actually becomes fully devoted to the Lord, he no longer has any such obligations. As stated in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Devarshi bhutapta nranam pitranam na kinkaro nayam rani charajan sarvatmana yash sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya kartam. One who has fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord is no longer a debtor to his forefathers, the great sages, human society, the common man, or any living entity. The Supreme Personality of Godhead nonetheless advised Prahlāda Mahārāja to follow the regulative principles, since he was going to be the king. Others would follow his example. Thus, Lord Narsingh advised Prahlāda Mahārāja to engage his political duties so that to engage in his political duties so that people would become the Lord's devotees. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tad evetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. One should not be attached to any materialistic activities, but a devotee may perform such activities as an example to show the common man that one should not deviate from the Vedic injunctions. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gaurvani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. As we discussed in the last verse, Prahlāda Mahārāja was ordered by Narsingh Dev to do last rites for his father, even though father had departed to become devotee on higher planets. And we discussed the same principle which Srila Prabhupada has kindly explained here. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tata devetaro janaha. Common men follow the example of great leaders. Because Prahlāda Maharaj was in a leadership position, he's son of a king, going to become next king. If he disregards Vedic injunctions, which a devotee can do, there is no need for a devotee to follow. Vasudev Paramakha, Vasudev Paragyanam, Vasudev Paraveda. Ultimate purpose of all knowledge, Vedic sacrifice is to become a devotee of Lord Vasudev, who is present everywhere. So when one becomes devotee, he has got no other obligation. All the duties are fulfilled. All duties are meant to take a person to the platform of pure devotional service. But others may misunderstand, they may lose whatever scope they have of advancement by neglecting Vedic injunctions. So thus for the conditioned souls, it is very important to follow strictly the rules and regulations. Thus Prahlāda Maharaj was told. And now here again, Lord Narsingh Dev is not telling Prahlāda Maharaj to give up his worldly responsibility of ruling over as a king. But Narsingh Dev is telling, take charge of your father's kingdom, but yathoktam brahmavadibhi. Without transgressing the injunctions of Vedas, as a matter of formality, you may perform your particular duties. Sit upon the throne and do not be disturbed by materialistic activities. So, what is the understanding? Again, Prabhupada is explaining the same thing. So, Prahlāda Maharaj is not willing to give up his occupational duty so that others may understand, others may not also give up their occupation. But it is very important because when disciples ask Prabhupada, because we are on the principle of Saradharman Parityajya, forget everything. So, Prabhupada, can we tell lies for preaching? So, only for preaching we will lie, but otherwise we'll be honest. So, it can be done. Yes, it can be done because Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was not lying. That is the reason people do not understand. So if we read, that is why explanation of a pure devotee is required. When Yudhishthir Maharaj was told in Mahabharata, you please go and tell a lie that Ashwathama has been killed. So he did not tell lie. But when he told Ashwathama elephant, then Krishna blew his conch. So the effect was, what was heard by Dronacharya was that Ashwathama has been killed or Ashwathama is dead. So anyway, so then as soon as he told Yudhishthir Maharaj, he told this thing, then he was given a punishment, and the punishment was seeing the hell. So many commentators, they write that Yudhishthir Maharaj, even though he spoke truth, but the effect was translated as a lie because Krishna blew conch. That is why Yudhishthir Maharaj was given small punishment of seeing hell. Even though he wanted to speak truth, but in effect, lie was communicated. Even though Krishna blew the conch, but he was also implicit. He was also involved in perpetrating this lie, in this falsehood. So that is why he was given punishment. But what is the real understanding? He was given punishment because he spoke truth. When Krishna is telling you lie, you should lie. So these people do not understand that Krishna is God. God has made all the principles. If God is telling you speak truth, you speak truth. If he's telling you lie, you lie. So that is why acharyas are required. Otherwise, people will completely misunderstand. As we were discussing previously about the sons of Sagar Maharaj being burned by fires coming out of their own bodies. But people think that Kapil Muni, he burned them down, but that is not fact. Like this, in many Vedic histories, completely different conclusion is given, which is opposite to the conclusion which we should understand. So from here, people have understood we should always speak truth. Even if Krishna is telling, we should not follow. There is very wrong understanding what some people have perceived. So they don't read Bhagavad Gita only. Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So yeah, in principle, this is the principle. But then principle is different and application of principle is different. What is the principle? What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita, same. Kirtaniya Sadahari he has told. But can we simply do Kirtaniya Sadahari? We cannot do that. So we have to apply that principle. Principle still applies. Always 24 hours chant the holy name of Krishna. But we cannot do that. So what is the process for us? You engage. Physically, you should work in the service of Krishna. And then you will be able to come to the platform of Kirtaniya Sadahari. So same principle we have to apply, but there is a way to do it. And Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, they are very expert how to help us apply those principles in our life. So principle is this, but then when Prabhupada was asked, can we speak truth or lies? Because ultimately, devotee is not willing to take personal benefit. He is not willing to take some money, or he is not willing to have some recognition, improve his reputation, living standard. No, for Krishna's sake, he is telling lie. But Prabhupada told, no, you should not lie. Why? Here Prabhupada is giving statement against the principle. For Krishna's sake, we can break all regulative principles. Prahlāda Mahārāja gave up his duty as son. Kumaras gave up their obligation as son. And Bali Maharaj gave up obligation as a disciple. So this is the principle we have been learning. But here it is being told, Prabhupada is telling, no, you don't lie. So somebody was collecting money for something and using for something else. Yes, disciples of Prabhupada told, no, this should not be done. Why? Because Prabhupada explained, it is very difficult to catch big fish without getting wet. If you want to catch big fish, then you will get wet. So we should not get wet. So that is why, although it is a fact that lying can be done, but Prabhupada told to lie to one and not to another is not a good policy. It is not possible. We will develop a habit of lying, and lying, it is a sinful activity. It is very important. People do not know this. They have taken lie as a culture or compulsory part of daily transactions. I must lie. Without lie, I cannot do anything. But lie is a very great sin. The Brahmana's first feature is Satyam. He will always be speaking truth, even at the cost of his own life. He will never deviate from the path of truth. So speaking truth is so very much important. Because Brahmanas would follow this principle with a great vow, then whatever they will speak, it will also happen to come true. That is why Brahmanas, people were very much afraid of their curse. Just like Shringi, he cursed Maharaj Parikshit, you are going to die in 7 days. And then eventually, it happened. He was a small kid only. But because he was following these Brahmanical principles, Satyam, it is not easy to always speak truth in every circumstance. But this is very much required to make one's spiritual life perfect. What to speak of spiritual, even material life perfect. And if we tell lies, then our minds will become disturbed. So people do not know these simple principles. By telling lies, the minds get disturbed. It is a fact. It is breaking the laws of nature. So a sinful man cannot be happy. Yes, gross results may come in next life, but subtle results will come immediately. Immediately there will be disturbance in mind. So that is why a person who is breaking the regulative principles here, such a person cannot be happy. Mind will immediately become disturbed if you violate Vedic injunctions. That is why sinful man, sinful people, you see, they are never happy because they are breaking. So there is disturbance in the mind immediately. Mind will not be peaceful. And because mind gets disturbed because of sinful activities, then what happens? We are not able to chant. We are not able to have samahita, as we were discussing yesterday. Great attention. So that is why Prabhupada told, do not do this thing. Of course, small things. You are going for book distribution somewhere and somebody asks, do you have permission? You can tell, yes, sir, I have permission. So otherwise, we will not be able to do anything. So we are doing so this small is okay, small thing. But otherwise, our dealing should be straightforward. This is one of, because many people, they ask this, that one devotee was there in some good PSU, and PSUs you get a lot of bribes. So he was telling, yes, Prabhu, let me take bribe and I'll give to temple. I'll give to Krishna. So is it good policy? In principle, it is good policy. Why not? So because everything belongs to Krishna, so we can take everything for Krishna. But it is not recommended for us. Why? To catch big fish without getting wet is very difficult. So thus Prabhupada told these advanced level of devotional services should be left for advanced devotees. So if neophytes do this thing, they will get disturbed in their minds. Neophytes are not very much advanced. The consideration for purely, the intention of purely serving Krishna is not very strong. There is some personal interest involved. A little bit the volume can need is going. So if the devotee is neophyte, then the interest of serving Krishna might not be very strong, and personal interests may also. And in the name of serving Krishna, we are fulfilling our desires. So then eventually what happened? The devotee was collecting bribes, not just for him temple, but for sending and funding his son's education abroad as well. And then all such things, they happen gradually, and then Maya catches us. If you are just purely taking for pleasing Krishna, that is all right. But then advanced devotees can do that, not ordinarily. And otherwise, people will misunderstand. There's another reason. And if people misunderstand, oh, these are devotees, they are taking bribes, then the devotees will get bad name, or these people are taking bribes. People do not understand this higher principle, Sarvadharman Parityajya. So that is why we should be very, very careful that devotees should be following very strictly the laws of the state in principle. So it is very important. We should be very much law abiding, follow each and every law very nicely, and following the law of the state, otherwise also Vedic injunction. The king should not, or the ruler should not be disobeyed. They are authorities. Just like Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami, when he was going to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to retire. Then the king came, Hussain Shah. He told, you cannot retire, and this is illegal. You are taking care of the kingdom. I am going attacking other kingdoms. Who will take care of the people and the state affairs? So he told, I have decided to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he told, I will arrest you. So Sanatan Goswami told, you are representative of the Supreme Lord. Whatever you want, you can do. You are free. And Sanatan Goswami was always showing him proper respect. So yes, this is the understanding. The king is authority. The king should always be followed unless his instruction is against his. So here in this case, Hussain Shah's instruction was against the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is telling you join, he is telling don't join. So then he disobeyed. So otherwise, in normal circumstances, the authority should be followed. Father is authority for the child. The spiritual master is authority for the disciple. And the king is authority for the state, for the subjects. So they must be followed very, very correctly. Unless they are telling something which is against the instructions of Krishna. And otherwise also people will misunderstand. And then people will think, oh, these people, what spiritual life they follow. They are not able to have general morality also. So that is why it is very important that we follow these things very nicely, and very big lies, small thing here and there, it is okay. Permission as Prabhupada told. But otherwise our dealing should be very straightforward. Our dealing should be very, very honest. Ussahat nishchayat dharyat tat tat karm pravartanat Sangata Tyaga Sato Vritte. One of the 6 things which enhance our devotional services, Sato Vritte. What is Sato Vritte? Dealing should be very straightforward, very honest. So now in Kali Yuga, everyone is doing under the table job, and this corrupts our consciousness, pollutes our mind. So normally our dealing should be very straightforward, very honest. Nothing happens by doing all these things. People think if I smart out other men or the systems, I'll become very rich. It does not happen. Rather, we are spoiling our future fortune also materially by breaking such laws.
Whatever we are destined to get, we will get. There is no need of becoming dishonest for these reasons, and it spoils our spiritual life, it is told. Sato vritte is very much important. Dealing straightforward, dealing should be honest. So that is why, as a student, if we are studying, we should not also cheat. Let 99% of people cheat. People may give logic, Prabhu, all my friends are cheating, I should also not cheat. No, let whole world cheat. They don't have to go back to Godhead. So we should be very honest. We should not worry. So we should not always tell, no, Prabhu, it is practical, I have to. No, we should not. Devotee is very honest, very straightforward. Is very much. This is one of the injunctions given by Rupa Goswami. Dealings must be straightforward. But then, yes, very advanced devotees examples are there. Advanced devotees have robbed money. They have robbed people. They have become highway robbers also. And they have killed also people in the service of Krishna. So, but those were very advanced devotees, pure devotees. Just like Arjuna, anybody who is being killed by Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, they are going back to Godhead. Ordinary person, if he kills, so nothing will happen to them. But Arjuna is killing, they are going back to Godhead. So advanced devotional service is meant for advanced devotees. So we should be very, very careful. We should not lie. So that is why, yes, the principle is Saradharman Parityajya, and we can give up everything. But then we have to take, that is why the coach, the spiritual master is very much required. How to apply these principles in our life. So without transgressing the injunctions of the Vedas. So that is why it is being told here to Prahlāda Mahārāja. Do not transgress the Vedic injunctions. So for common people, set the right example. So in a similar fashion, we also should set the right example as a matter of duty. And do not be disturbed by materialistic activities. So even though we are doing normal job, but we should not get disturbed by materialistic activities. And that is very difficult. Many people ask, this is a question, right? That Prabhu, I am engaged in my regular thing, I do this thing, but when I associate with those people, I also get contaminated, carried away. But here Narsinghdev is telling, no, do not be disturbed. So what is the solution? The solution is also given by Narsinghdev in the verse. What is the solution? Yes, so here it is mentioned. Pitriyam cha sthana matishta yatoktam brahmavadibhi mai aveshya manastata. My dear child, my dear boy, mai aveshya mana. The same word is also used in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is being asked by Arjuna, who is better, impersonalist or a devotee? So Krishna answers, Maya Veshya Mano Ye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Paryopetas Te Me Yuktatama Mataha. The person who with great love and faith worships my personal form, he is considered best according to me. Same words are used, Maya Veshya Manaha, whose mind is always absorbed in me. So this is very important principle. We will remain undisturbed when our mind is always absorbed in the lotus feet of Krishna. Otherwise, it is not possible. Then a person, if the mind is not absorbed in lotus feet of Krishna, then there is disturbance. There is no other way of getting peace but absorption of mind in the lotus feet of Krishna. Mayi aveshya manaha. So thus Prabhupada explains very nicely. Tesham satata yuktanam. Satat means always, 24 hours. Not that 5 minutes I meditate and rest of the time I live like cats and dogs. People tell this, no? Why you are chanting so much Hare Krishna? Chant 5 minutes. That is enough. And then do regular things. So Prabhupada is telling, Satat means always. Tesham satata yuktanam. 10th chapter, verse number 10 in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned. Satat means always, 24 hours. Not that 5 minutes I meditate and rest of the time I live like cats and dogs. No, this kind of meditation will not help you. Krishna says Satat. Satat means 24 hours. You have to mold your life in such a way that 24 hours you will think of Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. If you think, now I have chanted my 16 rounds, now I have finished my business, now I can do whatever nonsense I like. No, Krishna says no. So we think I have to just focus on, yes, Prabhu, I have understood. I have to be attentive while chanting 16 rounds. Then I'll forget chanting and chanting bag and chanting beads. Next morning I'll search. No. So 20 satat is the process. Yes, those 16 rounds should be of great quality with full attention, concentration, because we have got many other duties to perform. But along with those duties, 24 hours. So this is very important principle. Krishna consciousness means satat, satatam. 24 hours we should be conscious of Krishna, thinking of Krishna. Krishna is very kind upon you because he has given you so many responsible tasks. So sometimes Krishna gives us many responsibilities, tasks, and we find it difficult to execute those tasks. So Prabhupada is explaining. So always think of the lotus feet of Krishna, Sri Krishna, and you will find no difficulties in executing the tasks allotted to you by Krishna. So if you always think of the lotus feet of Krishna, you will find no difficulty in executing the tasks allotted to you by Krishna. Why we'll find no difficulty? Because Krishna tells. What does Krishna tell? Yogakshemam vahamyaham ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate. One who is always thinking of me, engaged in my service, then what happens? I provide what a person lacks and I preserve what he has. So Krishna will supply everything and Krishna will preserve, protect what we have. Simply, if a person always thinks of Krishna and engages in his service. I am in due receipt of your letter dated August 11, 1974. I have noted in your letter that you want to serve me. I only want that all of you, my disciples, always think of Krishna and never forget him for a moment. So Prabhupada is telling, all my disciples, all you my disciples, always think of Krishna and never forget him for a moment. In this way you can conquer Krishna. He becomes so attracted by pure devotion that he gives himself to his devotee. And if you get Krishna, then what do you want more? One should not forget Krishna for a single moment. How to do this? How to think of Krishna that I have given? Following the devotional practices and chanting 16 rounds minimum. We have also established worship of deity in our temple so that all day long one will automatically think of Krishna. So whatever rules and regulations Prabhupada has given, they are meant for this purpose only, so that we can always think of Krishna. But we should always know, endeavor should be there to always think of Krishna. This endeavor is very important. You have to smear your eyes with the ointment of love, then Krishna will reveal. Krishna will come in front of you. Just like Dhruv Maharaj was undergoing tapasya and he was meditating upon Vishnu Murti within his heart. All of a sudden, the Vishnu Murti disappeared, so his meditation broke and immediately opened his eyes. He saw the Vishnu Murti in his front. He is there. So similarly, you think of Krishna always. Always think of. When you will be perfect, you will see Krishna in your front, talking with you. This is the process. You will see one day. But you should not be very much hasty. Another important principle Prabhupada is explaining. So here, if you simply think of Krishna, Krishna recommends also that man mana bhav mad bhaktaha. This Krishna consciousness movement is nothing just to train people how to think of Krishna and how to become devotee of Krishna. That's it. That's all. So you may become devotee, but you will become devotee. If you think of Krishna, naturally you will become devotee. But think of Krishna, is it very difficult task? Very simple, very easy. Even a child can do it. Here is Krishna. You can, in the temple, deities are there. Prabhupada is telling, here is Krishna, you can think of. So you go on thinking, you will be attached. You will be attached. you will be attached, Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha, and thinking of Krishna in association of the devotees, not alone, then you will go to hell. So Prabhupada is telling, if somebody thinks, let me think of Krishna alone, then Prabhupada is clearly mentioned that alone you will go to hell. So alone it is not possible. Always in the association of devotees. Without association, not possible to think of Krishna. In this age, yes, that was possible in Satyuga. In Satyuga, people would go sit alone and they will meditate on Krishna for a very long time, thousands of years. But in Kali Yuga, it is not possible at all. It is the environment is so much polluted, so much contaminated, it is impossible. So that is why association very much required. So Prabhupada explained regular devotional practices, chanting 16 rounds, and then in the association of devotees. And this we discussed previously also, but just to reaffirm the importance of this practice, we are reading this quote again. Prabhupada gives special concession here. Regarding your business and spiritual practices to Garg Muni Prabhu, because he was very expert in doing business. And he's telling Prabhupada, I have no time to chant 16 rounds also. And what to speak of entire sadhana. So then Prabhupada is Acharya, he can make special concessions by seeing the devotees. So regarding your business and spiritual practices, I give you special permission as follows. So what is the special permission? You find out of 24 hours at least 1 hour conveniently for chanting Hare Krishna with great attention. Out of 24 hours, 1 hour you find. For doing what? Chanting with great attention. So as Prabhupada always has been telling, great attention is very much required. So at least 1 hour you chant with great attention. Where should a person chant? In front of deities or anywhere else? So Prabhupada tells, either by the deities or any place, without being disturbed by anyone else. Not being disturbed is prime important principle. Either by the deities or anywhere else, but without disturbance. Without being disturbed by anyone else. So you have 23 hours for other things. Now, these 23 hours, whatever you do in them, either eating or working or sleeping, what you should do? You always try to think of Krishna. That will keep you intact of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is telling 1 hour with full attention, great attention, and balance 4 hours, whatever you do, working, eating or sleeping. While sleeping and while eating also, Prabhupada is telling. Either eating or working or sleeping, you always try to think of Krishna. That will keep you intact of Krishna consciousness. If one is always careful about falling down and prays to Krishna that he may not fall down on account of greater strength of Maya, then Krishna will give him special protection. So we try to advance in spiritual life, but we fall down, we commit mistakes, we break regulative principles. We are not able to do our sadhana services properly. And we feel Maya is very strong. Yes, Maya is very strong, Prabhupada explains. Just like Krishna is all pervading, Maya is also all pervading. But if we pray always, if we are very cautious about not falling down, and we are always praying to Krishna in this manner, then Krishna will give special protection. It is told here. So Prabhupada gives example, just like somebody who is very anxious about not falling sick, maintaining good health, such a person does not generally fall sick. Someone who is very cautious, I should keep my health nice, they don't generally fall sick. So similarly, one who is very cautious, I should not fall down, then they will not fall down. So one should be cautious, and cautious means always praying, 24 hours thinking of Krishna, praying to Krishna. So that will keep you intact of Krishna consciousness. If one is always careful about falling down and prays to Krishna that he may not fall down on account of greater strength of Maya, then Krishna will give him those personalities who are having great threat in the country. They are given special protection. SPG. Special commandos, they come and protect. this person is in danger. You go and protect. Like this, Krishna gives special protection to the person who asks for it. Simply you ask and Krishna will give. But you have to ask always. Then Krishna will give. So always keep on asking and then Krishna will give special protection. Prabhupada has written here. This was advised to Arjuna by Krishna himself. Arjuna was a great fighter, statesman, and at the same time a great devotee. A statesman and military commander has very little time to perform the routine work of devotional service. But Krishna advised him specially to be engaged in his occupational duty and at the same time always be thinking of Krishna. So this is very important. Ma manusmar yudhya cha. Thinking of Krishna is very important. Always, that is Krishna consciousness. Without always practicing seeing the lotus feet of Krishna, one cannot even understand Krishna. Prabhupada writes, only a person who has got in the stage of samadhi, constantly thinking of lotus feet of Krishna, can understand something about Krishna. So only when a person is always thinking of Krishna's lotus feet, such a person only can understand Krishna, not otherwise. Because that is called Shuddha Sattva platform, when a person is always able to think of Krishna. And on Shuddha Sattva platform, Vasudev platform, Vasudev is realized, Krishna is realized. So sometimes some devotees, they are satisfied by chanting. That I am chanting, what is the need of thinking of Krishna also along with that? Is it required? So Prabhupada answers. One devotee asked also Prabhupada, is it because Prabhupada has told? So thinking of Krishna, how do you do? By chanting. This is the formula Prabhupada tells, because a person can tell, as Prabhupada is explaining here. But if you take this formula, Ananyas chintayanto mam, always think of Krishna, then result will be that you will never be unhappy. Just try, make an experiment. We don't say that you give up your engagement and become a mendicant or sannyasi like me and give up your wife and children. No, Krishna does not say that. So Prabhupada is telling, we don't tell that you give up your wife and children. Krishna also does not say that. What does Krishna say? Ma manusmar yudhyacha. Wherever you are situated by the freaks of nature, the body you have acquired, you do that. But while doing that, what you should do? Ma manusmara, think of me. So Prabhupada asks, you may ask then, why you have given up your wife and children? Prabhupada tells, I have given up my wife and children for this purpose. If I am engaged in family life, then I cannot do this missionary work. I have taken absolute shelter to this work without any disturbance. So for a preacher, for a missionary, that is different thing. So if one has to spread Krishna consciousness, one needs to be free from all these disturbances. He needs focus, he needs time. So that is why it is required. But for personal perfection of Krishna consciousness, one can do whatever. And Prabhupada tells, that is our mission. Wherever you are situated, what you do? Simply always think of Krishna. You will never be unhappy, you will be prosperous, Prabhupada tells. 3 times Prabhupada tells, you will be prosperous, you will be prosperous. So materially also there is no difficulty. So Prabhupada tells, what is the difficulty? You make an experiment. So this is what we can request people. Whatever you are doing, my dear friend, you are studying or you are failing, you simply try to think of Krishna. Always. You are doing business, you are cooking, you are eating, whatever you are doing, just always try to think of Krishna, make an experiment in your life. You will never be unhappy. You remain in your occupation, you remain at home, but chant this, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Why don't you try it? This is our mission. We don't say that you change your life. We simply say that in whatever position you are, you please chant, that's all. You please chant, you will be happy, you will be prosperous. Again, Prabhupada is telling. You will be happy, you will be prosperous. Krishna will be pleased upon you and you will never be in scarcity. Is it not a very nice thing? You will never be unhappy, you will never be in scarcity. That is guaranteed here. Tesham nitya abhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Those who are thus engaged always in thinking of me. So thus Prabhupada is telling, you are not in scarcity and you are always happy. So is it not a nice thing? Yes. So if you practice this, always chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, thinking of Krishna. Those who are, well, you can do your business and think of Krishna, and what is your harm? And that thinking may be, I mean, to divert your attention. Now one may ask, but how do I do this? I have to focus on my business, my study. Along with that, how do I think of Krishna? I can think of one thing at a time. So Prabhupada is telling what is the solution. And that thinking may be, I mean to say, divert your attention, but if you chant Hare Krishna, you will practice. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But you will not be deviated what you are doing, but at the same time, you will be able to hear this sound, transcendental sound vibration. So this is the formula given by the Lord himself. Please try to follow it. Ananyas chintayanto mam, always chant Hare Krishna. So when it is told always think of Krishna, that will be possible by always chanting. Without chanting, it will not be possible. This is the formula. So Prabhupada tells you are doing your job, just practice chanting always. Chanting will not disturb you. Some sound is coming out of your mouth, and then you are doing your work, but by this you will be able to think of Krishna. Automatically it will become very easy. Form will be revealed. Always chant Hare Krishna. There is no rule, no regulation. Never mind what you are doing. Simply chant and hear. But along with that, we have to practice that we are thinking of lotus feet also. That Prabhupada has mentioned in many places, as Prabhupada mentions here also. Sudama began commenting how Srila Prabhupada handled the questions so expertly after the class. One of these groups is agitating against ISKCON, Sudama said. So they were in ISKCON, but these devotees went out and they started practicing the same principles, but in their own group. And they also were following Prabhupada, but following separately apart from the main institution. And then there would be competition. Some new devotee has gone, staying with them, and they will catch the devotee, come to our camp, come to our side. So in this way, they appear to have got a girl devotee. So he is complaining. Sudama said, one of these groups is agitating against ISKCON. Do not agitate back, Srila Prabhupada replied. Don't cause a strain. But they spoke to one girl who had moved into the temple, said Sudama, and they took her with them. Prabhupada said, so many girls come and go. So Prabhupada told, don't become in this way, don't create agitation. You are also devotee, they are also devotee. So one girl, one devotee has gone, it's okay. So many people will come, but don't do this thing. Said Srila Prabhupada, just chant, dance, read, preach, and think of Krishna always. The secret of success is to serve the bona fide spiritual master and follow his instructions with sincerity. So Prabhupada has told, just chant, dance, read, preach, and नहीं, आप लोगों ने सुना नहीं. Just chant, dance, read, preach, and yes, Shubham has heard, and think of Krishna always. So Prabhupada is not telling just chant, read, and preach, but thinking of Krishna is also required. But those who are not able to think of Krishna always, for them you just focus on chanting, Prabhupada has told, and then Krishna's form will be revealed. Similarly, Prabhupada tells in another place, Krishna appreciates very much when his devotee works very hard to serve him. So this quote I always keep on my homepage. So very important. Many instructions Prabhupada is giving here. Krishna appreciates very much when his devotee works very hard to serve him. So you are doing the greatest service. Do not be disturbed by anything temporary disturbance. Simply focus your energy in always serving Krishna. Under every circumstance, remember to chant the Lord's name and remember his lotus feet. So what Prabhupada is telling, under every circumstance, remember to chant the Lord's name and remember his lotus feet. So Prabhupada is using and. Under always circumstance, remember to chant the Lord's name and remember his lotus feet. And that will protect you under every condition without any doubt. So it will protect you under every condition without any doubt. There is no doubt. So if you are always chanting and always thinking of lotus feet, so both are required. But for those devotees who cannot think of Krishna while doing their duties, their jobs, their tasks, for them what is recommended? You just chant. But otherwise, we should try that that is why Prabhupada tells here, deities are there, try to carry that impression always in your heart. One should practice. Prabhupada explains one should force one's mind to think of Krishna. Mind is thinking of so many things. One should force. No, don't do this thing. Think of Krishna. So one has to force. Automatically, it will not happen. One has to train the mind to think of Krishna always. Just like materialists, they train their mind. How do they train their mind? Every day they get up and write their goals first thing in the morning. It is natural to forget, right? Anyway, they are materialists. They want that. So just materialists to remember his material goals. They have to always write down every morning. So how much we need to write and remember. So that is why it is very important. One has to force, just like they are forcing their mind to think of the goal they want. Similarly, we have to force our mind to think of Krishna. When Krishna sees sincerely we want to remember his lotus feet, then Krishna will sanction. So one has to practice while doing any activity. One needs to chant and think of Krishna. If one is not able to think of Krishna, we can simply chant. But yes, while we are exclusively chanting 16 rounds, that time there is clear instruction that name, form, qualities, pastimes will be revealed automatically. Just focus on the holy name. So while we are chanting 16 rounds, those 2 hours, we should just focus on the holy name very nicely. And then automatically, Prabhupada has very clearly mentioned, although Dhruv Maharaj was recommended both process, that you think of Krishna within the heart and chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Because that was Ashtanga Yoga. In Ashtanga Yoga, one must do this practice, dharana. This is called meditation. One must keep the form of Krishna within the heart, and then one can chant mantra as Dhruv Maharaj is doing. But for us, it will not work. So if we focus on dharana directly or chanting also, we might not be able to do. So that is why Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj just told, Prabhupada has told in Bhagavatam clearly, in the explanation of same verse Prabhupada has told, we should not artificially try to think of Krishna, simply focus on hearing the sound. Sound is non-different from Krishna. Just like Krishna can come in the form, as a form in deities' pictures, similarly Krishna has come in the form of sound. There is no difference in form or sound. Either you focus on the form or you focus on the sound. There is no difference. So simply if you focus on the sound, sound incarnation will reveal form, pastimes, paraphernalia, associates, everything will be revealed simply by focusing on the sound. But while doing any activity throughout the day, so that 1 hour Prabhupada has told, here with great attention, and 23 hours, whatever you are doing, always chant and think of Krishna. Whatever you are eating, sleeping, whatever you are doing, just think of Krishna constantly, Prabhupada has told. Think of lotus feet of Krishna. So we have to practice. So we should be conscious. This is Krishna consciousness. So by reading such quotes where Prabhupada is telling the practice for exclusive chanting, disciple asked Prabhupada, is it offensive to think of Krishna while chanting? So Prabhupada told, no, it is not offensive. Rather, it is required. You should think of Krishna. When chanting is nice, you should practice chanting in such a way, as soon as you chant, the name, form, paraphernalia, everything is revealed. That is actual chanting, pure chanting. Everything is revealed as soon as one chants. But if you are not able to do it, then you simply focus on the name and it will happen. So it is rather required, Prabhupada is telling. It is not offensive, it is required. But the way to reach that platform is now you focus on the holy name. So that is why Maya Veshya Mana, this is very, very important. Always thinking of, always keeping our mind absorbed in the lotus feet of Krishna. Then we can do our duties like Prahlāda Mahārāja and not get disturbed. We'll end here. Any questions? So the question is, what is the difference between artificially thinking of Krishna and forcing the mind to think of Krishna? So same thing. It is not coming naturally to think, but this artificial thinking is discouraged while we are chanting our japa 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. And other times it is recommended. And sometimes a yogi is conversing with Prabhupada, and in that conversation, because yogis, they come to Rishikesh, other places from West, they want to practice this kind of yoga where they sit down and they meditate on something. So she's asking Prabhupada, so, but there is no meditation here. So Prabhupada tells, you chant the mantra. So, but there is no meditation. So Prabhupada tells, here you have Krishna's deity. You can think of this deity while you're chanting. So Prabhupada told even that. So, but the general process is, and Prabhupada also tells, generally the process is you simply hear the holy name. So that time one should not think. That is clear instruction. And other times one should think, Prabhupada is telling, whatever you are doing, eating, this thing, that thing. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So we understood small lies we can tell, big we should not. So when does small become big? So where is the objective framework? So that is why we are very fortunate. We have the guidance of the devotees. So in case of confusion, we always ask the devotees and follow. So our life becomes. So that is why there is no difficulty in our life. We simply ask and we follow. That's it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So the question is, somebody's job is like that. It demands telling lies. So shall we incur sinful actions, reactions or not? So yes, we'll get sinful reactions, but there is a way to counteract it. If you follow Krishna consciousness, very nice. Some jobs are there, as Prabhupada explains, businessmen. If he tells, sir, I'm giving you at no profit, nobody will believe. He'll ask more discount. So that the businessman has to tell lies. Sir, I'm giving at no profit. Uh-huh. Yeah. So similarly, the Kshatriya. Kshatriya also has to kill. Killing is sinful activity. You are taking life. So the sinful reactions do come. But there are other duties, Panch Mahayagya recommended for the Grihasthas. If they do that, these unavoidable sinful reactions, which are part of your occupational duty, they are countered. And apart from any occupational duty, we are anyway committing every day unavoidable killings. That is called Panchasuna, 5 kinds of killings. We are killing while we are walking. We are killing while we are talking, eating. We are killing while we are cooking food in the flames of fire. Small microbes, they get burned. We are killing while we are grinding the wheat or grains. Then also small microbes are killed while plowing the field. In this way, unavoidable killing happens, cleaning the floor every day. And the reactions will come. So it is not that somebody is noting down personally and giving you. Krishna has created automated system. We are creating so many automations. We are trying to imitate Krishna. So here, if you do sinful activity, nature automatically gives you punishment. But in this automation, there is another system set up. If you do this Pancha Yajna, then you will be free of these. So that can be done by serving Krishna, surrendering to Krishna, Sankirtan Yajna. So if you do this Sankirtan, honor Krishna Prasadam, offer the results of activities to Krishna, such things are taken care. But it should be taken care. It should be only that it is compulsory. It is business kind of activity that I have to tell lies. In such cases, a businessman has to tell, I am not taking any profit. But otherwise, we should not indulge in such activities. Especially one should never indulge in such occupation where 4 regulative principles are being broken. I am working in a 5-star restaurant. Leave that. Not required. Immediately may not be practical. The Prabhupada understands. But gradually try to give up that. So many restaurants are there. Earn little less. Do something else. But directly where 4 regulative principles are being violated, we should plan how soon we can move out of that business. Initially, we can start offering the results to Krishna as soon as we understand it is wrong, and gradually plan that we can stop. We cannot continue working in such places. Yes. Yes. So the question is how to apply the principle Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. So there is one moral principle which is telling everyone to speak truth, but then speak truth which is palatable. And truth which is not palatable should not be spoken. So that is fact, because we should not create anxiety for anybody in this world. So truth which is not palatable generally should not be spoken. But when we are talking of spiritual subject matter, then this rule can be violated. Even though truth is not palatable, it must be spoken, especially it must be spoken to the disciples, to the students who have come to understand spiritual knowledge. Thus, Bhagavatam speaks many unpalatable truths. Shovidavara hoshtakara samsutaya purushaya pashu nayat karnapato peto jatu nam gajagraja. One who does not relish the message of Bhagavatam, he is like camel, cow, donkey, as directly criticizes. Like this, Bhagavatam is using very harsh and strong words against a materialist. So in case of spiritual subject matter, we need not follow this rule. Otherwise, in general standard, it is very important. So when we are talking to anybody, we should speak truth also in a palatable manner. And we can see from the example, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, when he was communicating, how nicely, even though he's debating with other person, and he's Krishna Pradi, he's offender to Krishna, Mayavadi, but how nicely Mahaprabhu is telling. Mahaprabhu is not sitting with them. He is telling, oh, you are advanced sannyasi, I am fallen sannyasi. How can I sit with you? And then he's, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu won their hearts by his polite speech. They all got captivated. They started showing him respect. And by this, they became qualified to understand the conclusive knowledge of devotional service. So thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you see how when he's talking, when he defeated that poet who came from Kashmir, he was defeating everyone, Keshav Kashmiri. Then he is making fun of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu told, can I please hear a poetry from you on Mother Ganges? So he tells what you will understand. Have you understood literature? Have you read it? So Mahaprabhu tells, I have not read it. You are right. But I've heard from other people. I've been there in the learned circles. So by this, I have some understanding. So you please read. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out the mistakes also. And then he's telling, please do not mind. I am just a small child. And I have no knowledge. What I've heard from you, I simply repeated. So please don't mind. You're a great scholar. And your knowledge is like Brihaspati. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associate students, they started laughing when Mahaprabhu defeated. So no, don't laugh. And then he pleased very nicely. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is correcting, even though he's having a condescending attitude, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not. He always told, if you don't mind, it is embellished with wonderful ornaments, you're all shlokas, but if you don't mind, there's some mistakes. So can I tell those mistakes if you don't become angry? So really how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nobody was feeling offended with Mahaprabhu's dealings. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is Acharya. He's telling by his, yes, Mahaprabhu is severely criticized. Mayavadi Bhashya Sunle, when Advaitacharya, he was reading impersonal philosophy, Mahaprabhu took a stick to beat him. Of course, Advaitacharya wanted to get beaten. That is, anger is also taken as mercy. But Mahaprabhu became very angry. When Mukund Datta was found to hear impersonal discourses, he banned him from his association. So Mahaprabhu was so angry. But when he personally went to meet Mayavadis, he's showing great respect. So sometimes devotees become fanatic preachers in the name of direct preaching. So there is a difference between direct preaching and fanatic preaching. Fanatic means make everyone enemy. You are rascal, you are nonsense, you are also nonsense. So this is not preaching. If in first meeting you tell somebody you are nonsense, you are cow, donkey, ass. See, Bhagavatam is telling, I am not telling you are donkey, you are cow, you are ass, you are bull, you are monkey. Then your preaching is finished. There could be health hazards also for you. No. So what is the preaching way that Prabhupada has told, Prabodhanand Saraswati has told? Dante nidhaya trinakam padayor nipatya. Take straw in your mouth. So carrying straw in mouth is symbol of humility. Take straw in your mouth and then approach people with great humility. Dante nidhaya padayor, fall at their feet. Approach a new person. How should we approach new person for spreading Krishna consciousness? Fall at their feet and being very meek and humble. And then what should we tell? I offer 100 obeisances to you, my dear sir. You are very knowledgeable. Flatter him 100 times. And then you request him. So, whatever you have learned so far, please keep it aside. And please try to understand the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is our request. Chant Hare Krishna. Then person will take it. So, Prabhupada tells it is natural psychology. So, if somebody praises you, then you want to maintain that position. You cannot then counter him, want to debate with him. So there's natural psychology. So that is why if we have to preach, we don't have to. Sometimes we start arguing, debating, defeating them. No, that is not the purpose. Let them win. We should try to flatter them, praise them. And then you present, you request them that whatever you have learned so far, please keep it aside and try to appreciate this knowledge of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu which I brought. Try to understand. You are a very open-minded person. You are an intelligent person. I have got a philosophy which is meant for most intelligent people. So, acha, mujhe intelligent bola. Yes, I have to see now. So this is the principle. So one should not. That is why Satyam Bruyat Priyam Bruyat. In this way also it can be applied. But especially to the students, one who has completely surrendered, they may feel bad, but it is the duty of the teacher, the instructor, the spiritual master to correct them, even though they may feel bad. That is very important. So unless somebody is surrendered, one should not chastise, should not be harsh, but be always polite and convey the truth. Not creating agitation for anybody is the duty of a Vaishnava. It is one of the regulative principles of devotional service. Mahaprabhu told to Sanatan Goswami, devotee's behavior should be so nice that he should not create disturbance, agitation in anybody's mind. Devotee should not get agitated and devotee should not create agitation in others' mind. This is very important. Just a moment. Online some questions? No. Yes. Yes. Yes, so when we tell lies, what is in the back of our mind? That we all know. We are afraid of losing something or not attaining our desired objective. This is because of ignorance. We think if I lose something, I'll be unhappy, or if I do not gain my desired objective, I'll be unhappy. People do not know. No, gaining something will not make me happy, or losing something also will not make me unhappy. This is an illusion because of which I suffer. And if I be always truthful, I'll come out of this illusion. That will make me happy. So we'll finish here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.